Hi everyone. Today I am going to cover BFSI sectoral reforms. BFSI sector is not performing well or not performing as expected by the government. So that's the reason government is looking for some of the BFSI sectoral reforms. In this video, I am not going to cover any of the sectoral reforms things, but definitely I am going to cover four different questions that are more likely to be asked in the examination because we are talking about BFSI sector here. So definitely, if you look at the overall GDP within services, BFSI is one of the strongest things. Also, BFSI is likely the backbone of the Indian economy. So definitely, any major initiative happening in BFSI sector is worth looking as well as worth considering for your upcoming prelims examination in 2026 as well as in 2027. So this first question is basically about consider the following statements regarding the current state of Indian banking, financial services, and insurance sector. So it's basically what's the status of this BFSI sector right now. It's basically a site away question as well as basically it has some sort of facts in it. So if you look at option one, the option one says share of banks in the total market capitalization of BFSI sector has significantly increased over the last 2 decades. So if it is increased, why would the government want to make any sort of, if it is increased, why would the government want to make any sort of regulatory changes? They would not even look into these things, right? So definitely something is not doing right. So that's the reason government is trying to do something over here. So definitely the word increased is the crux here. So definitely uh, how many options are correct? So definitely one is wrong. So one is wrong. And look at two, non-banking financial NBFCs and fintechs have played a crucial role in enhancing financial inclusion. So financial inclusion is the keyword here. What do you mean by financial inclusion? It's bringing more and more people to organized banking sector. So if you look at if for example couple of street vendors weren't using any of the bank accounts or any other sort of formal way of uh, transferring money from one end to another end, the P2P business or B2C or C2B, customer to business. So these things weren't there before. But if you look at street vendors today, you go want to purchase, for example, vegetables, or you want to buy some, drink some tea from a tea vendor. So everybody has got their QR codes ready, right? Also, you go to you, for example, a mechanic comes to your house and repairs something, some electricity issue or something. You are now transferring money to him via your phone pay or Google pay or whatsoever. So this is basically these companies are phone pay, these kind of companies are, they are called fintechs. So it is definitely enhancing financial inclusion. Yes, that is true. What about the rest of the question, especially in rural and informal sectors? As we just discussed, informal sector is correct. What about rural? What about rural? Do you think rural is right here? Rural is definitely right here. So if you look at if you look at rural area, even in the rural area, most of the people are now using phone pay and apps like that. So definitely NBFCs, non-banking financial companies, as well as fintechs. So NBFCs, pertaining to NBFCs, you can look at some of the uh, high interest related lending they are offering. For example, uh, Aditya Birla, or sorry, any of the small finance banking firms you look at, they're definitely looking at inorganized sector or informal sector as well as rural areas. So those are very popular there. So that's the reason two is definitely correct. What about three? The BFSI sector's contribution to Nifty 50 earnings has declined in recent years due to increasing non-performing. No, there isn't any news regarding NPS. NPS, I don't think they are increasing. So I'm 50-50 here. So just look at Nifty 50 earnings has declined in recent years. I don't think that is right. I don't think that is right because uh, though overall BFSI sectors declined, but if you look at Nifty 50, that's basically the stock market thing. Which of the stocks are falling? So look at major stocks like uh, major stocks. As I mean, looking at stock market, definitely that has some correlation with the revenue growth of those individual banks. So none of those banks are basically not doing wrong or doing bad. So if you also look at the GDP, overall GDP of India, so that has been consistently growing by around 6.5 to 7.5, 8 percentage points each quarter. So definitely that is going doing good. So I don't subscribe to the word declined. So definitely this is wrong. So 3 is also wrong. We can go ahead with B, only 2. Okay. So B is right here. And next one is this. Which of the following are identified as key challenges? So this is basically a straight away question, current affairs driven. Okay. To India's BFSI sector. Let's look at some of the options. Fragmented regulatory framework with overlapping yeah, fragmented regulatory framework is definitely one of the things identified as a key challenges. Yes, this is true. And overdeveloped and highly liquid corporate bond market. I don't subscribe to the word overdeveloped. Do you think anything is overdeveloped within BFSI sector? I don't subscribe to this word. Let's look at the options. Okay, we have got only B, that is excluding two, that excludes two. So basically, yeah, we can go ahead with B. So let's look at option 3, 4, 5 as well. Weak insurance penetration, yes, weak insurance penetration is correct. And look at 4, absence of shadow banking activities posing no significant threat. This no significant threat is wrong here because absence of shadow banking. Uh, uh, I think, yeah, I think this is wrong. This is definitely wrong. So shadow banking actually increases threat. Okay. So 4 is wrong. We can safely remove 4. I think we can probably go ahead with 5 in this context. Lack of effective disclosure of ultimate. Yeah. So UBOs. Yeah, definitely we can go ahead with this. This is sort of a straightforward fact related option. So definitely we can go ahead with B here in this context. Next one is question 3. This is regarding committees. So these committees are very much important for prelims because we are now talking about BFSI sector related reforms. So definitely any sector related reform that has a very strong impact on the overall uh, BFSI in the recent past, or from the inception of the BFSI sector or former banking sector, is very much relevant for us. So definitely it is worth looking at 1969 reforms, banking reforms. Also, some of the banks are now merged. Recently, so some of the banks were merged. So it is worth looking at those things as well. So coming to the question, Narsimhan committee focused on banking sector reforms. Yeah, this is true. This is basically fact related question. You have to have your facts ready. Uh, slightly on the, I mean, slightly from the logic side, if you look at regarding Raghuram Rajan committee, primarily dealt with new bank licenses. When Raghuram Rajan was there between, I think 2014, 2014, 2015, 2013, those times, do you think any new banks were there? Raghuram Rajan committee, also, I mean, not just then, I mean, when Raghuram Rajan was there with RBI, even before that, definitely, if you look at, uh, he didn't actually there's a story regarding Raghuram Rajan committee. He developed a SWOT analysis, SWOT analysis on banking sector. So he identified some of the challenges or threats, that are going to be seen from the banks. So that's overall banking side. So that he was very popular for that SWOT analysis because he identified some of the threats for Indian banking sector. There is one article, regarding that. Uh, Somehow I happen to read that or learn from that. So definitely I wouldn't subscribe to this new bank licenses thing here. So this is definitely wrong according to my understanding. Basically this new banks licenses isn't something that was there when Raghuram Rajan was actively focusing on this banking sector. He actually looked at overall banking as well as in fact if you look at some of the Raghuram Rajan's interviews or articles back in those times, he was largely talking about how do we improve our banking. So definitely that. And yes, I think payment banks, yes. Nachiket More committee, I'll go ahead with this because this is basically the fact driven thing. So definitely two is wrong. So yeah, we'll go ahead with one and three only. This is correct. Next one is question four. Which of the following measures are suggested? Yeah. Which of the following measures are suggested in the content to revamp? Okay. India's BFSA sector. So, looking at India's BFSA sector, what is something that is definitely, yeah. So, this looks bit tricky. This is one of the examples of, complex questions or slightly difficult questions. You have to have your facts ready. We have seen UBOs twice already. So, looking at UBOs is definitely one of the important things you have to do. Looking at all the options, I think four is wrong here. So four, four, four. So we have got only one option that is not with four. Definitely one, two, three are right here. It's basically a straightforward question, but you have to have your facts ready. You have to learn about SEBI. There was a question on SEBI as well. I mean, which committee which committee selects SEBI chairperson. Also, which committee, the same committee selects RBI governor as well. That is headed by whom? So those things you have to remember. And IRDAI is definitely worth looking at. Also UBOs, you have to look at UBO thing as well. And insolvency bankruptcy code is definitely important because we have got Malia related, Vijay Malia related interview circulating in the internet. So though he paid out all the debt he took from the public sector banks, uh, still CBI and ED saying there is some money laundering related thing is there with Vijay Mallya's transaction. So definitely it is worth looking at financial fraud related things as well as IBC insolvency bankruptcy code in India. Those things are worth looking. Also, you can look at some of the banking related information, particularly on NBFCs, because the kind of questions we are getting on NBFCs are increasing. Definitely, I am expecting one question from the FSC sector in 2026 and 27 as well.